yourselves?
I'm fine, thanks.
Hello, Karen.
Hello, teacher.
Ivan, how was your day? Was it good?
Hello, teacher. Well, teacher, very well.
Very well. Okay. What do you do? Where do you work?
I work in radiología
Radiology.
in a clinic in Neiva City.
Okay, great. Magda, how was your day?
Good, teacher, very good.
Good. What do you
Good.
do? Are you a teacher? Yes.
Yes, I am the principal of the school.
Ah, you're the
In
principal of the
Plasencia.
school.
The director. I am the director.
Lauren, good evening. Karen, how was your day?
Good, teacher. I am many things in my work.
You had many things in your work. Okay, Orlando, what about you?
My day was great. I have enough time to do different things that I have to, so so because I just asked for my company 2 hours off. I mean, I leave earlier and I do some stuff things, and yeah, it was okay.
Okay. Well, let me tell you that it is very cold in Bogota. So I'm putting on a sweater because even we are in the house, but it's absolutely cold. Okay, so we're going to start today with passive voice. That is the topic that you had in Dexway. And
Yes.
the topic that I consider, I mean, it is not difficult, but you have to pay a lot of attention, right? The other topics that are in Dexway for the same unit are easier, like you have comparatives and superlatives. So those topics you already studied in other units, but passive voice is a little bit tricky. Okay, so
Right.
today we're going to do some exercises on that, and I will include explanation because I think it's important, right, that you have like a direct tutoring in this topic. Okay, so we will probably spend 2 or 3 more sessions working on passive voice because it's actually something that you have to work on. Okay, is that okay?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so who else? Didier is here. Okay, so I'm going to start showing you some news. First, we're going to read some news. Okay, I'm going to share with you presentation. Okay, all these news are taken from real newspapers, online newspapers, or physical newspapers. Okay, so you are going to see that in real life we use the passive voice a lot. Okay, but before talking about what passive voice is and grammatically how we construct it, I want to focus on the meaning and why we use it. Okay, so look at here the first example. Okay, so who wants to read the example? Anyone?
So,
okay, I'm going to read it and then you read the other examples. Okay, 3 tourists were robbed by human statues in the historic center of Colombia's tourist hotspot Cartagena on Tuesday, reported El Tiempo newspaper. Okay? What is the main idea here? What is the news?
That
A robot. A robot by human
Robbery,
statues.
right? Now, who did it? Who did or who committed the crime? Human statues.
Human statues.
Right? But the most important thing is to focus on the action. 3 tourists were robbed. We even can omit by human statues, right? The news is that tourists were robbed. Let's have a look at the second example. Who wants to read it?
I'm teacher.
Okay, Magda, thank you.
Colombian officials and coca growers reached an agreement on Wednesday to temporarily halt Wednesday.
No le
To
hace Wednesday. Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday to temporarily halt the forced eradication of coca, the basic ingredient of cocaine in the northwest of the country. The protest, which blocked the main road between the city of Cúcuta and the nearby town of Ocaña, were organized on Saturday in response to efforts by Colombian anti-narcotics and anti-riot police to forcibly remove coca plants in the Catatumbo region.
Okay, so if I ask you who organized the protest, what would you say? Who organized the protest? The Colombian officials?
No, Colombian anti-narcotics.
The anti-narcotics, sure? They organized the protest?
Yes,
Coca growers, which is coca growers.
Okay, coca growers. The police doesn't organize protests, right? Yeah. Narcotics doesn't organize protests. But, you know, people like teachers, farmers, etc., we are the ones that complain about the rules, right? So we previously mentioned coca growers. So we don't have to mention that again. The most important thing is that the protests were organized. Okay, so we are once again emphasizing on the action. Okay, look at the other example. Red alert, Medellin air pollution kills 6 times more people than guns. The statistics show that of the nearly 15,000 deaths recorded in the last year of the report, at least 3,000 were reported to be as a result of these factors, a fact that shocked Professor Elkin Martinez, a researcher at University of Antioquia. Okay? Who reported the deaths? Who reported the results of the study?
Professor Elkin Martinez.
Okay, probably Professor Elkin Martinez and his team. But what is important here is not who did the study. What is important is what they found in the study, right? People are dying. How many? 3,000 are dying because of the air pollution in Medellin. Okay, once again, we are emphasizing on the action, not the person who does the action. Okay, Colombia's largest airline, Avianca, was forced to cancel 150 flights on Wednesday after pilots called a strike aimed at labor dispute with the company. So, who forced Avianca to cancel the 150 flights?
Pilots.
Who? Sorry?
The pilots.
The pilots. Why? Because of the strike.
That's right.
Right?
You're right.
But look at the emphasis of the news is in the action, right? That Avianca had to cancel the flights. They were forced to, okay? It was not their decision. Something happened that they were forced to do that, okay? Good. Let's see some more examples. I'm going to stop sharing this one. And I'm going to show you another one, okay? But I don't know how to. Give me one moment. It's going to be difficult. I don't know if I can. Just give me 1 minute. Oh, I cannot send a file, right? And I don't know if I can. No, I cannot do that. Yeah, just give me 1 minute, please. You're gonna tell me if you can see this, okay? So if I click here, can you see?
Yes, teacher.
What can you see in this moment?
Your documents.
Okay.
Files, right.
But you cannot see the presentation, the passive overview.
No. Just
No?
folders.
Teacher.
Oh my God. Because it's a presentation that opens immediately, right? It doesn't have the option to stop sharing. No, but I cannot. Ah, maybe. Wait. Share. Oh, yes. Okay, what can you see now?
Yes.
The
Yes.
presentation, right?
Present.
Okay,
Right.
so we're going to talk about crime and punishment, okay? So, oh my God, look at the examples of the passive voice. This is a crime report, okay? Karen, Juliana, can you help me reading?
Yes, teacher. On the night of January 12th, start video of Main Street was burglarized.
Burglarized. Do you know what is that? Burglarized?
Burglarized. No, I don't know, teacher.
No? When a person enters to rob, it could be an apartment, it could be a bank, it could be, but it is like you are not in the place, right? But they by force enter to a place. Okay.
Okay. The police reported the following. The glass door was broken and the alarm was disconnected. The suspect, who was watching a video, was found in a back room. Police were led to the suspect by a trail of popcorn and gummy bears. He was taken to the police station for questioning.
To the police station for questioning. I am going to underline all the verbs that are using passive voice, okay? On the night of January 12th, Star Video on Main Street is like Blockbuster, right? On Main Street was vulgarized. In that sentence, do we know who committed the crime?
No.
No. We have no idea if Pepito, Juanita, robbers, a guy, a woman, we don't know. The main purpose is to highlight that there was a crime. There was an action that was committed. We don't know who, okay? The police reported the following. The glass door was broken and the alarm was disconnected. Who broke and disconnected the alarm? Who broke the glass and disconnected the alarm?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet, but we know that it is a person, right? So
Right. Yeah.
the robber, but we don't know. Or they don't say Juan Perez was identified as the robber. No, we don't know. Okay? The suspect, now they are talking about the person, right? The suspect who was watching a video was found in the back room. So who found the suspect? Who found the robber?
The police?
The police. But they don't mention here. The police found. Why? Because it's obvious. Right? So we don't need to mention. The most important thing is that the suspect was found. Okay? Then police were led to the suspect by a trail of popcorn and gummy bears. So how did the police find the suspect? What led the police to find the suspect?
Question.
Because the suspect have left some prints, some clues. I mean, some, right? I mean,
so he was eating popcorn and gummy
Yeah.
bears. And so the police followed the trace, okay? But, I mean, it is not important to mention this first. So they are making emphasis on the action. The police were led, right? And finally, he was taken to the police station for questioning. Who took the person to the police station?
The police.
The police, right? So it is obvious, we don't need to say the police took the man to the police station because it's obvious, okay? So now we also use a passive voice to explain a process, okay? Example, if a crime is committed, a suspect is usually arrested. We are talking about the USA, no? And taken to jail. A lawyer is called and the suspect is interviewed. If a trial is necessary, jurors are selected. If the defendant is found guilty, he is sentenced by the judge to serve time in prison. Okay? So once again, I am going to underline the examples of passive voice. So if a crime is committed, who commits the crime? If a crime is committed.
A person.
A person. We don't know anyone, right? So it is not important to say a person, no, anyone. If a crime is committed, a suspect is usually arrested and taken to jail. Who arrests and takes people to jail?
The police.
The police is the only option. If you take someone, if you arrest someone, you are kidnapping. Because you are not the police, you don't have the right to do that. So that is why in this sentence, it's not necessary to say the police because it's obvious. Okay? A suspect is usually arrested and taken to jail. A lawyer is called. Who calls the lawyer?
Someone.
Someone. It could be
Anyone.
the suspect.
Someone.
Yeah, it could be the suspect, it could be the family of the suspect, it could be the police if the suspect cannot afford a lawyer. So it is not important who calls a lawyer, but in the legal system, a lawyer must be called. It doesn't matter who. So the criminal or the suspect needs a lawyer. It doesn't matter who calls it, the police, the family, or the suspect itself, himself or herself, yeah? And the suspect is interviewed. So, who interviews the suspect?
The lawyer?
The lawyer and also the prosecutor and the police. So many people interview, right? Many people interview the suspect. So it doesn't matter who does it, but in the process, it has to be done. If a trial is necessary, jurors are selected. Who selects the juror in the United States?
The lawyer? No.
The government, right? But we don't know, and it is not important to mention. We don't need to know who selects the juror. The only thing that we need to know is that there should be a juror, right? Or jurors. If the defendant is found guilty, who finds guilty someone?
The judge.
Actually, the jurors in the United States. In Colombia, the judge. In the United States, the jurors. The jurors deliberate and they say it is guilty or innocent. And then the person who sentenced, the person who said, okay, you have life or prison, or you have 20 years or death penalty, is the judge, right? So the judge appears here, but is not as important as mentioning what the process is, okay? So I am going over this by first giving you examples of active versus passive and when we use it, okay? So Leonardo, can you help me reading the first part?
Okay. Teacher, good evening, and
Hello.
classmates, good evening. The first part, active sentences, focus of the agent, person or thing doing the action. Passive sentence, focus on the object, person or thing receiving the action.
Okay. So look at the first example. The police arrested the criminal. The subject that is doing the action is the police. The emphasis is on the police, the person who is doing the action. Yeah, that is active voice. So here is the present, is present, past, future. What is that? The police arrested the criminal. Past. Right? So we know the person who is doing the action, we know the action, and the criminal receives the action, right? Now this is what we call active voice. But look at the second example. The criminal was arrested by the police. We are saying exactly the same. The purpose or the meaning is the same, but the purpose is different. In this case, we are emphasizing on the person who receives the action. So we are saying by putting the person who receives the action first, the emphasis, the most important information in the sentence is to clarify that the criminal was arrested. We can even omit this part by the police. We omit it. The criminal was arrested. We already know that it was the police. No one else can arrest someone. Just the police. Is that part clear? Yes? So once again, in the active voice, which are the normal regular sentences that we know, we are doing or we are making emphasis on the person who is doing the action. But in the passive voice, it's more important the person or object that receives the action and the action itself. Okay? Sorry, don't see this, don't see this. Don't see this, don't see this. Okay, now, this. What are the uses then? Use the passive voice when the agent of the action is unknown or not important. So the person that is doing the action, we don't know, or is not important. In Spanish, we have a different, well, not a different. The way we form the passive is with sometimes reflexive verbs. Me robaron el celular. Y alguien le pregunta, ¿quién? No, ni idea. Right? The only information that I have is that I was robbed, but I don't know who. Right? I cannot, well, I probably say a man, but that information is either not important or we don't know. So this is the first example. Picture and fingerprints are taken. This is the legal system, no? Pictures and fingerprints are taken. This is what, when the police arrest a subject, this is what happens, right? Do we know who takes the pictures or the fingerprints? Do we know?
No.
No. But why? Because it's not important. It could be the police. It could be an assistant of the police, right? So it's not important. Jurors are selected. Do we know who selects the jurors? No, we don't know if it was the lawyers or if it was the judge or the government, the police, we don't know. And that information is not important. What is important is that we need jurors for the trial. Okay? Use the passive voice when we want to avoid mentioning the agent. We don't want troubles. In Spanish, we said, me dijeron que. Right? Me dijeron que no había clase. But we don't want to mention who. Yo no quiero comprometer a la persona. Yo no le digo, Didier me dijo que no había clase, profe. No, me dijeron. Right? I avoid mentioning the agent. Paulo committed a crime. Passive or active?
Active.
Active, because I am emphasizing on Paulo. I am saying he was, right? But if I said a crime was committed, we don't know. Or we are avoiding mentioning Paulo. Okay, so that is the second use. First use, we don't know the person or it's not important. Second use, we are avoiding mentioning. Okay? So, when it is important to mention the person, but first I want to emphasize on the action, we need to use by, not for. Okay? Example. The video store was burglarized by a former employee. So in this case, I am making clear who committed the action, right? But the most important is that I am emphasizing on the action, and I am mentioning the person because the information is surprising. It's something that we didn't expect. So it was an ex-employee who robbed the store. Okay? Good. Now, I am going to go back very quickly to explain the way we form the passive voice, okay? So in the passive voice, we always need the verb to be. We always need the past participle of the verb, so it means the third column of the verb. So let's take, for example, the verb go. Go is infinitive or present, right? Then we have the past, that is. The past of go is?
Went.
Went. And the past participle, that is the column, is?
Gone. Lost.
Gone.
Gone.
Right? So we have go,
Gone.
went, gone. So which one do we use? The past participle, gone. Now we need the verb to be. The verb to be in present is am, is, are. In past,
Was, were.
was or were. Right? If it is in future, so we need will, then the verb to be. Will be. Right?
Yes.
And then the object if necessary. So the object of the sentence becomes the subject. Example, start video, verb was burglarized, past participle. By whom? We don't know. We don't have that information. The most important thing is to emphasize that start video was the victim of a crime. Okay? Of course, this is past, no? So we are reporting something that happened in the past. The videos were not stolen. So videos are the objects that receive the action. And look at here, we have an example of a sentence that is in negative. Okay? So in the negative goes in the verb to be. I am not, you are not, he isn't. So it is the same case here, right? And stolen is the past participle of what verb?
Stolen.
What is the verb?
With.
Salt.
What is the verb? Steal, stole, stolen. Robar, steal. A case is being reviewed by a judge. What tense is this?
Present continuous.
Present continuous. What do we have here? The verb to be is past participle, being because it's continuous, review. So if it were in future, it would be a case will be reviewed. Okay? Well, we already studied this. I am going to go. So, in active voice, we said, a judge reviews the case. That is active, right?
Right.
So,
Okay.
a judge is doing the action. The action is reviews. In what sense? Past, present, future?
Present.
Present simple, right? We have the S in the verb because a judge is third person. It could be he or she, right? And the case. The case receives the action. Okay? Sorry. So first, we need to identify the object. What receives the action?
The case.
The case.
Case.
So that is
Case.
that is the
Case.
first thing that we have to put, the case.
The case.
Second, if it is present, how can I conjugate the verb to be?
Is being.
Verb to be plus participle of the verb reviewed.
Okay, so the case,
Was reviewed.
Was reviewed.
why was if it is present?
No.
Ah, no, it's reviewed.
Is reviewed.
Is, and then past participle of the verb review.
Reviewed.
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 So we have this, the case, which here was the object, now becomes the subject because it receives the action. Then we have verb to be in present because the sentence is in present. And then we have the past participle of the verb. Now we have two options. We can say, who is reviewing the case? By a judge, not for. Because sometimes in Spanish, well, no, sometimes. In Spanish we say, el caso está siendo revisado por. And we transferred that to English and we said the case is reviewed for. Now, by, if we need to mention the agent, right? A judge. So I can omit it. The case is reviewed, right? If we don't want to mention the person, right? Now, someone removed the videos, right? In this case, what or who is receiving the action?
The videos.
The videos, right?
Videos.
Now,
Videos.
is it present, past, future?
Past.
Past.
Past. So it means that in passive voice, the sentence has to be in past.
The
Right.
videos are removed.
This was
The videos
were removed.
where.
videos were, because videos is
Where.
plural, right?
Yes.
Now, what is the
Because,
past participle of remove?
Someone.
The same.
Is the same because it is
Irregular.
regular verb. Regular.
Regular.
So in the regular verb, the past and the past participle is the same, right? And here we have someone. So it means that we don't know who committed the crime. Do we have to mention? No. The videos were removed. By whom? No idea. Is that clear?
Yes.
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 Okay. Now we have the jury, interesting, negative, didn't find the defendant guilty. Who receives the action?
The defendant guilty.
The defendant. The defendant.
Okay. The defendant.
Guilty is the adjective, no? Guilty or
Okay.
innocent, right? So just the defendant. So that is the first thing that we have to write, the defendant. Now, is it present or past?
Pass.
Past.
Past.
Right?
Past.
Now, affirmative or negative?
Negative.
Negative.
So now, how do you write the passive voice in negative for the past?
The guilty.
Hmm? What is the negative
Found.
of the verb to be in past? The defendant. The defendant is.
The defendant guilty hasn't found it?
Weren't.
No.
The
Weren't?
defendant, is it singular or plural?
Single.
Singular.
Singular. So do we use was or
Singular.
No, it wasn't.
And it was
Now, the main verb is find. What is the past participle of find?
found.
Very good. So the defendant
Was
wasn't
Found
Found
Wasn't
guilty.
Found.
guilty.
Uh,
Exactly. The defendant wasn't found.
guilty.
Okay? So, you're going to do this, guys. The lawyer instructed the jury. Se dirigió, ¿no? El abogado se dirigió al jurado. The lawyer instructed the jury. Passive or active?
Active.
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 Right? We are doing, or we are making emphasis on the person who is doing the action. Now, second. So, agent and action. The jury was instructed by the lawyer.
Passive.
Passive.
Passive. So we are making emphasis on the receiver.
The jury.
Yeah,
The object.
was instructed by the lawyer. Right? Receiver of the action, passive voice. So remember, in the passive voice, we always need the verb to be. The verb to be and another verb. That's the way you identify that it is passive voice. Okay? Now, active or passive? The case was read by the judge. Sorry.
Passive.
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 Okay, present or past?
Past.
Past.
Okay, where is the emphasis on the case? Look up here,
The case.
right?
The case.
The case was read by the judge. The receiver and the passive voice. Now, the judge read the case.
Active.
Active.
Now, present or past?
Present.
past.
Past.
I know it's past.
Past, because if it is present,
Yeah.
it would be the judge reads with it because it's third person, right? So the judge read the case. Now here the emphasis is on the agent, on the person. Is that clear?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, okay. So this is what we already studied. Now you're going to do the exercises that are here. The lawyers submitted evidence. Active or passive?
Active.
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 Past or present?
Past.
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 Okay. So if you need to put this into passive voice, what would you do first?
Evidence
Evidence was submitted
was submitted
Evidence
by the
was
lawyer.
submitted by the lawyers.
by lawyers.
Evidence was submitted by the lawyers. Okay? Now, this is your homework. Well, not homework. This is your activity. Yeah, like now, right? The witness answer questions, the prosecution raise objections, and jurors take notes. Okay? So I need you to write the sentences. All of them are in active, sorry. Active voice. Okay? Now put them into passive voice. First, identify what receives the action. Second, if it is passive present. Third,
By the witness.
but I need you to do this first individual, and then I'm going to ask you. Okay? So just write your answers. Have you finished?
Yes.
Okay. So let's wait 2 minutes more so the rest can finish. Okay. The witness answered the question. Who wants to do this first sentence?
Me, teacher.
Natalia.
Yes.
Lauren, Natalia.
Okay.
The witness answered questions.
Okay. The questions were answered by the witness.
Okay. Why did you add the questions and not just questions?
No, questions.
Okay. Questions.
Mhm.
Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
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 Natalia, is it past or present?
That is past.
Past. Questions were answered. Now, look at this. This is in parentheses, by the witness. It means you can omit it or include it. If you decide to include it, you need the preposition by. Okay? Second, the prosecution raised objections. Who wants to do that one? Didier, it's your turn.
Objections were raised by the prosecution.
Prosecution. Do you agree or disagree, guys?
Agree.
Agree?
I agree.
Prosecution will, sorry. Objections were raised by the prosecution. Very good. Okay. Last one. Jurors take notes. Leonardo, you go.
Notes were taken by jurors.
Okay, you say no.
I disagree.
Wait, Antico, please. Thank you. Leonardo, can you repeat, please?
Notes were taken by jurors.
Okay, Leonardo, 2 questions. Question number 1. Jurors take notes. Is that present or past?
Okay, present.
Present. So, is it where or what?
Entonces, notes be taken by jurors.
Are you sure? Present of the verb to be is are, am, or is.
Okay, then notes are taken by jurors.
Now, second question. What is the past participle of take?
Taken.
It's a famous movie, Taken. Have you seen it? With
No,
Liam Neeson. No, there are like 3 movies of that. Anyway. So,
Take.
notes are
Are
taken.
taken.
Okay, by the jurors. Once again, we can omit the information or we can write it. If it is important to know the person who is doing the action, well, we have to mention it. But if it is not, we'll just, notes are taken. Okay? Questions?
Okay.
No. It's clean.
Is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Sure. No questions at all. No? Okay.
No.
Yes, I know it has been stopped. Now, we're going to do the opposite. So we have here some sentences in, you are not saying this, sorry. I need to share it first. So we already studied these examples, and they are in, all of them are in passive voice, right? So I need you to do the opposite, put it into active voice, right? So if I say three tourists were robbed by human statues in the historic center of Colombia, how would you put this into active voice?
Human statues robbed 3 tourists.
Very good. Human statues, which is the subject, robbed, just in past, 3 tourists. Okay? Now, the protests, which blocked the main road between the city of Cucuta and the nearby town of Ocaña, were organized on Saturday. Were organized on Saturday. How do you put this sentence into active voice? It's not easy because here it's difficult to identify who did the protest, but you already identified. You said that it was Coca Growers.
Teacher, maybe Colombian anti-narcotics organized. I don't know.
Coca growers organized the protest.
Because here the narcotics are reacting to the protest, yeah. But actually, the people who organized the protest were the coca growers, or you can just say people. People organize protest, right? Now, 3,000 deaths, yeah? So it says the statistics show that of the nearly 15,000 deaths recorded in the last year of the report, at least 3,000 were reported to be as a result of these factors. A fact that shocked Professor Elkin Martinez.
Research.
So who reported?
A research at the University of Antioquia.
Okay. A researcher of the University of Antioquia reported, without where, yeah, 3,000 deaths to be as a result of air pollution, right? Avianca was forced to cancel 150 flights on Wednesday. After pilots called a strike. Who forced Avianca to cancel the flights?
Pilots.
Pilots. So pilots
Forced
Avianca to cancel 150 flights. Okay? So, today it was the explanation of passive voice. Next class, we are having the exercise, okay? Speaking, written, but I consider very important to explain this grammar aspect because passive voice is not always easy to understand. Actually, it is easy, right? It is something that you just, even here, Spanish helps you a lot because it has a connection with Spanish. However, sometimes we forget the past participle of the verb, or it's not easy to identify who is receiving the action or who is doing the action, right? So that's why it's important to have this. Any questions?
No, teacher.
No, sure. Okay, so I will see you next Thursday, okay? People who hasn't, who haven't sent me the videos, it was just one person or two, just send them because you send the Word document, but the video wasn't ready, so you can send it now, okay? So if you have any question or something that you need help with, please write to me to the email or in Moodle. I will always respond, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, so I see you next class. Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.
Teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.